Hey everyone. First recording in my new setup. Hopefully there's less background noise at least. I set this up close to a month ago, maybe 2 months ago, and I haven't recorded any videos since. And I don't know, just that thought just makes me feel so unproductive, man. So unproductive and lazy and just, gosh. There's this idea that really resonated with me. The idea of the perfectionist that never gets anything done. I resonate so much with that. I feel like whenever I actually do something, I'm so meticulous and such a perfectionist about it that it kind of even throws me off, you know. It makes me want to stop because my vision of the thing will never meet. Like every time, I don't know how to describe this. Like every time I make something, I go through it and I'm like, oh god, no one's gonna like this. Nobody would like this. Even with school, it's like, oh god, I'm gonna get such a bad mark on this. Oh, this is so bad. This is so bad. So I'm so meticulous, and I've kind of cultivated this meticulousness in my own life, and the problem with that is that I need everything to be perfect, and even when it is, like, I still feel like, oh crap, no one's gonna like this, you know, and it just throws me off and it makes me want to stop doing the thing. Oh man, like, this semester is not going great, honestly. I think I don't know what I need. Really, I don't know what I need. My thoughts is maybe, like, I never really had a real winter break. I just kind of delayed my semester, delayed my exams by like 3 weeks, and so my winter break, I always had that stress of a deferred exam to do, and then maybe I just need like a break. I don't know. I don't even know if it'll help though, because you know, I've done shit this just binging games. I binged a game on Saturday and all day pretty much, and I don't even know if it helped. I can't even tell if it helped, and like, oh man, this all is just spilling out for me now, isn't it? Oh, I should really make more of these. I should really be making more of these. I don't know, like, someone told me once that I'm like the typical burnt out student. You know, it's my final year and it's not a photo finish at all. And maybe they're right to some degree. They're probably right. It's something about that resonated, and I didn't even think about it that way. I just thought I was like lazy. You know what I mean? I just thought I was lazy and not disciplined. But maybe I'm just burnt out, and I just can't tell, honestly. I really can't tell. I just don't want to get anything done. I just, like, every day I'm just binging fucking YouTube videos, or I don't know, I'll be reading a book instead, or you know, play a game instead. It's just anything and everything, just to avoid doing work. And then the wombo combo, as I described before, where like when I actually do the work, I'm just convinced that, oh, no one's gonna like this. No one's gonna like this at all, so I don't even want to do it while I'm doing it. And it's just like everything, at every step of the way, there is some kind of resistance, there's some kind of thing pushing me away, and it pisses me off that I just don't want to do anything. Like, what do I want to do if I don't want to do anything? And it's just, oh man, it's just so frustrating and annoying, and like, this is turning more into a vent session and a rant than a real video, but you know, maybe someone will find some glimmer of truth in whatever the heck I'm saying right now. And I just feel so lost, man. I just feel like I don't know. Like, I used to know what I wanted out of life. I had like this clear vision. And then nowadays, I don't feel it anymore. I don't feel my vision. I ask myself what I want and I don't have a real answer. And all I have is just like things I've wanted before, you know, and that's what I fall back on. What do I want? I made a list, you know, I want to work out, I want to make YouTube videos, I want to go to school and get a job, and that's my list that I made like a year ago. But I don't know if I changed or something and I'm a different person now. My dad said something interesting, that you should have never had an internship job, because now you've had a taste of the real world and you've seen just how pointless school is. Now that because school used to be my life, right? It used to be all I knew. And now that I've had a job and I've made some money for myself, I just see just how pointless school is, and how the bureaucracy in school and like the elitism is just insane. And it's just like people, apologies for my language, but jerking themselves off and you know, and being like, I'm so smart, look at what man, but at the same time, it's like the real world is just like that too. Like, even if I got a job somewhere, or like I started a business, it's the same. I'm going to deal with the same kinds of people, you know, people that believe so much in themselves and think what they're doing is the most important thing in the world. And people are like, oh, you got to meet this deadline, it's the most important thing in the world. If you miss it by a millisecond, you know, we're just rejected, goodbye. You know what I mean? It's just, this is the way the world is. Like, I can logically convince myself that I should do this and I shouldn't do this, but I just can't do it. I think maybe I needed to rant like this for a while. Maybe I needed to rant. Forgive me for the rant. I think the human body was just not meant to sit in a chair all day and think thoughts, you know, think very deeply on mathematical equations, or sit down and write something for a long period of time. You know, there's that whole writer's conundrum where like writers love having written something, but they hate writing it. You know what I mean? Writers love having something written, but they hate writing it. And it's just that I feel that rings so true to me, that I hate doing things, but I love having done things. You know what I mean? Oh my god. It's just insane. It's crazy. I've been watching this streamer recently. His name's Joseph Anderson, and he has this whole community built up of just people enjoying his jokes and like his humor, and that's something I feel like I want. You know, like my humor's, I mean, I guess I think it's unique, I think it's good, but it's, you know, that's debatable. But I feel like maybe that's something I want to. But you know, like internet fame is so fickle, like it comes and goes like so quickly, and like the average term for internet fame is 4 years, and then after those 4 years, do you really have any transferable skills? Arguable, maybe like 1 or 2, but you know, that's a thought I've been having recently. So I don't even know if I'm really gonna take this YouTube thing that seriously. At the very least, I do like just like ranting into the microphone right now, like I'm doing, and it's pretty fun, at least for that much. But yeah, that's something I've been thinking about recently. We got so much to catch up on, Jesus. Like, I've been having so many thoughts that I want to talk about. And continuing on from my previous point, sorry, very unorganized, ADHD brain, but like, even when I try and work on something, whether it be a YouTube video or when I try and work on a fucking, I don't know, progress report or like a 20-page report on like something we did for a lab or an assignment, like even when I sit down and do that, right, I just get this overwhelming feeling of shit, this is terrible, this is just ass, like, oh fuck, I don't want to do this, oh man. And yeah, I think I'm kind of repeating myself, but it's like at every level there's just resistance. And then you actually sit down and you do it for like an hour. You sit down, you focus for an hour and you do it. But then you're just waiting. You're just sitting there waiting, conniving, planning for the moment that you stop working so that you can go and do like 20 other things, like watch a YouTube video, respond to some Discord message, you know, I don't know, read a book, play a game, play 20 minutes of a game, and you convince yourself it's only going to be 20 minutes, like it's a 20-minute break, but then it turns into like 30, and then it turns into like an hour, and then it turns into 2 hours, and then it just keeps going and going and going, and it doesn't stop, man. Like, you just keep going. Like, there's always something to do. And I think that's it. There's always something more you could watch. There's always some more message you could respond to. There's always like something more that you could do. And it's just so much more appealing than just sitting there and doing work and doing the thing that'll really progress your life, you know, like actually progress it, actually make some fucking progress. Hormozy talked about this, that like people call themselves perfectionists, and I'm including myself in that too, but they're not really perfectionists. They're like it's either perfect or I'm not doing it. So they're just lazy, you know? They're just lazy people that are just like, it's either perfect or I'm not doing it. And then that's story of my life, man. Like, it's either perfect or I'm not doing it. And I feel like that's literally what I do. That's literally what I do. I don't think I wanted to admit it at first, but I think that is literally what I do. And it's just frustrating. It's just frustrating to look at yourself and to see just the pile of shit that you've created for yourself, and that you are now lying in, you know, rotting in your own pile of shit, just sitting there and literally fermenting in your own like noxious air. It's just, man, I don't know, man. I'm so disappointed in myself. I'm so angry with myself. I am so unhappy with myself, and I am just, and I don't know if it's really even my fault. Maybe it is burnout. Maybe I am burnt out and I can't do anything, and that's the problem. I just don't know, man. I'm just fucking. See, that's my humor. You know what I mean? But the truth is, like, life is always going to be like this, and maybe I do need a break, and thankfully I'm going to a trip to Japan for a little bit. I think my cat is yelling at me to get into the room. Give me a second. And there's something that rings so true about that, the perfectionist that never gets anything done. And that's me. I'm the perfectionist, and I don't get anything done ever. And it's not like life is going to change. Like, this is how life is. You got a deadline, you need to do something before the deadline, and it's going to be asynchronous, and you got to manage your own time. Like, you can't expect someone else to do that for you unless you're pretty rich and you can hire an assistant, but okay. For the vast majority of people, you got to manage your own time on your own time, and you got to be able to do things you hate, things you don't want to do at all, and you got to manage to be able to do that. And it's just so hard. It's just so hard when you're stuck in this cycle of just going to one place or another and having infinite sources of distraction. Literal infinite sources of distraction. If you want it, I don't ever do this, but I'm sure, like, if one person could probably spend the rest of their life watching every YouTube video that's on YouTube right now, and crap, where am I going with this? Like, there's so much content on YouTube that you could literally watch for the rest of your life and you would still not be able to finish it. And that's how it is. That's how it is. Even on TikTok, there's so much content on TikTok. There's so many messages on Discord. There's so many. You could spend the rest of your life just going through Instagram, going through TikTok, going through even just pick one platform, and you would never get through it all. You would never get to the final the final YouTube video, because there's just infinite content out there for you. And I've just kind of reached this place of just like what are we doing here? You know, like, there's all these video essays on YouTube about like the smallest things that really just don't matter. And sometimes I'm just thinking like, or there's even like YouTube videos about dramas. Like, apparently that recently there's this girl that's faked a blindfolded run on a Monster Hunter game. Like, what are we doing here? Who cares? Like, literally, this is like, these are things that are just so unimportant to the vast majority of your life. And yet we spend hours on it. We spend hours like thinking and getting angry at the last thing that Blizzard has done. You know, or Blizzard bad, you know, fucking Suicide Squad is bad, you know, fucking that lady that faked the blindfold run, she's terrible, she's a terrible person. Oh my gosh. And what are we doing here, man? Like, and then there's all these drama channels, like, I don't know, Ethan Klein and what's her face are on a podcast together on Frenemies. Like, who cares? Who cares? It's just a self-justifying system. And yet there's so much content of it everywhere. Boogie298 has an entire 2-hour documentary. And then you got Asmongold and XQC reacting to it. So that's another like 2 hours of content per person, per streamer. Maybe 3 because they gotta talk as well. It's just a self-justifying system that is so disconnected from reality, and I'm just wasting time on it. I'm wasting time on things that just don't matter, and are actively hurting me, actively making my life worse, but at the same time, I guess I'm a self-saboteur because I just spend time on it. Maybe not those examples particularly. For me, it's more like Dark Souls speedruns and challenge runs, and like talking about just some random guy's opinion on modern dating. Like, it's just some random guy, and I don't even know why I care. I'm just like, but I don't know, man. It just seems like there's infinite ways to distract yourself and numb your mind from ever having to think again. But there's only one way to really do something with your life, and that one way is the hardest option of all of them, of all the possible options. And that's why it gets used the least. Life is not going to get better. Like, this is just how life is, that there's something you gotta do and you hate it. You absolutely hate doing it, but you gotta do it if you want to continue to live life at its fullest. And that's just how it's going to be for the next 80 years, really. And that's just how it's going to be. So being a perfectionist, like, that's not really the problem, is it? The perfectionism is not really the problem. The problem is just that you're not doing it. And when you're not doing it, nothing gets done. 400 IQ, I know. And that's the thing I need to work on. Just being able to do it. Cal Newport has this thing where he says, it's not natural to sit down and work at a desk and work on something. It's not natural. It's not what we were designed to do, but we gotta do it in this modern world. And anything that you can do, any procedure that you can do to make it happen, do it. Obviously, you don't want to do like dumb things, like things that are actively going to distract you, like look at Discord before you start writing your term paper, right? But like things like Maybe you go take a walk outside. Maybe you take a nap for 20 minutes and then you get up re-energized and start getting to work. Maybe you meditate for like 5 minutes and then that's when you get to work. Actually, that's a good one. I might actually implement that one. But there's so much you can do, and but that's just how it is, that in some way you have to do extraordinary things to be able to do something extraordinary. You have to do extraordinary things to be able to do something extraordinary. Something you wouldn't naturally do, to be able to do something that you weren't designed to do.